RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there is having themselves an awesome day. That was, of course, Celine Dion doing I'm Alive. Hence the I am part of this. The power of I am. Thought it was important to kind of do this. One, for anyone doing affirmations, I am is the most powerful thing you can throw in front of any statement. Any statement. If you ever find yourself making any sort of statement, either mentally or out loud, and it is preceded with I am or I'm, pay attention to what you're saying right after. You are making one of the strongest declarations to the universe, to your higher self, to everything under the sun, and things that aren't even part of the sun, right? But you're making an enormous declaration. The I am presence is huge. Some would say, and I agree with this, by the way, when the Lord said he made us in his image and likeness, a lot of people think that we look just like God, and that's why they've personified God to make him look like they do, and whatever. You know, I'm not going to debate that per se. But what some of the spiritual walks kind of believe they actually meant is the I am presence. That's the part of us that is in his image and likeness. We are essentially little mini creators, little mini, I don't want to say mini gods because that sounds bad, but basically that's essentially, he gave us, he bestowed, he, she, it bestowed this I am presence to us, and hence we now have these abilities to be able to manifest. So the I am presence from a metaphysical standpoint. So give me a couple minutes just to be a little metaphysical here. I got this from a great source. There's an individual, he goes by the name of Cobra. He's part of this Lightworker network that's out there. He's part of the Ascension. He's talking about some really major changes that are coming up, whether you've heard of him or haven't, whether you follow him or don't. He's a very, very interesting man, and he's brought up all sorts of wonderful things. So this general concept kind of came from him. When stating and invoking the I am presence, we are affirming the presence of the self. It is not physical or mental. It is pure light and is our inner true soul being, having absolute power. One person with complete I am presence and total consciousness could liberate the planet. That's how strong this is. Now, just to give you a couple examples of people that have, quote unquote, had that level of awakening or that I am presence connection and their consciousness being evolved. Oh, I don't know, people like Jesus, for example. You might have heard of him. He's kind of famous. Or Sanat Kumara. How about Buddha or Maitreya, Confucius, Mary, mother of Jesus, also. Not Mary Magdalene, that was just the regular Mary, I think, right? Anyway, Lord Master Nada, Enoch, Kuan Yin, Saint Germain, Kuthumi, and Yogananda, I believe, is also one that's not currently listed on this particular little article here. So that being said, one person with that level of awakenedness, with that level of consciousness, with that level of in tuned with their I am presence could literally liberate the planet from any sort of evil, any sort of negative, any sort of powers that were, all those kinds of things. It is our diamond light body, which is also called the Merkaba. Might do future shows on that, but this is a very, very cool concept. Essentially, an easy way to kind of visualize the Merkaba is a pyramid going up, and then you've got a pyramid pointing down, and they actually spin in opposite directions. I don't know how to do that. It's like patting my stomach and rubbing my head at the same time. But essentially, that is your light body. That is your light vehicle. It has the same geometrical form as even our Earth, the mothership, stars, and galaxies. It can be used for intergalactic travel as well as protection. One way to we don't need to get into that. Let's see. There is a process that activates our light body, whereby the I am presence merges with the physical body through the ascension column. The process involves invoking this presence by stating the following. So here's a really, really good little quote you can say if you need to rewind and listen to this a couple times. This will truly, really start to get that I am presence within yourself, connected consciously to your conscious self, your higher self, all these things. When you're kind of aware that these things are all working together, it makes a huge difference in the way things play out in our lives, especially when it comes to manifesting, because this I am presence is the part of us that actually is doing the manifestation. So, the little phrase that is good to say, I call upon the pillar of pure white light to descend upon me and to form around me. I call upon the presence of the I am that I am to join and merge with me. This is the core of our individual ascension process, and this can be invoked at any time. Now, for those of you that are maybe biblical scholars, when Moses went up on the mountain, right? And he was talking to God. I don't know if it was the burning bush. I think it was the burning bush, right? And the bush is on fire, but had no reason to be on fire, yet wasn't being consumed. Kind of odd, right? Might be thinking he's on an acid trip. Maybe he had some peyote. Don't really know what Moses was doing, but a bush was on fire. And when he asked him what was his name, he said, I am. He said, what? And he goes, I am that I am. And it's one of the more profound statements in the Bible when it comes to our spirituality. So the power of the I am is huge. Reality is always being created from the present moment, which means everything that we're doing and saying and thinking right now is forming essentially our tomorrow or our 5 seconds from now. But essentially what we think, say, and do right now is creating what happens down the road. The I am presence is really constantly at work with everything we think, say, and do. So if you're trying to manifest things, these are the avenues that you want to be conscious of, right? These are the ways that we're creating and making these wonderful things happen in our life. So pay attention to the flow of energy and have gratitude, and our power of manifestation will increase. Again, pay attention to the flow of energy. What that means to me is when I have thoughts, like I shared recently, I had a thought that was very negative. Actually, it was the show I didn't do, ironically. I had a thought that was very negative, so you've not heard that show. I've had a thought that was very, very negative, and when I immediately had it, I felt my energy drop. That, to me, is paying attention to the flow of energy. I caught myself, and I immediately replaced that negative thought with a positive one and felt a lot better. And it had to do with me and my specific someone and not basically being good enough. I kind of lapsed back into some of my previous thinking where I wasn't good enough. I don't have enough. I don't contain what she's looking for. And I immediately caught myself. Immediately, because I felt, as soon as I had the thought, I felt as like, I just felt like crap. And so I'm like, okay, no, you're not going back down that path. Let's replace that. Let's be positive, and let's replace that thought with something that's a little more, I am worthy. I am good enough. I am great. She loves me for who I am. Those kinds of thoughts. And of course, immediately, I felt my energy feel better. Gratitude's one of the most powerful feelings you can have towards your manifestation. Being grateful for what you have when you don't even have it. That's huge. And that is really how you tell the universe, thank you for giving me this relationship. Thank you for increasing my abundance. Thank you for this new car that I'm looking for, that I look forward to driving. Thank you for this new car that I am driving right now, right? Let's go ahead and imagine from that location and then talk about it. Thank you for this new house that I'm living in with my significant special someone. Thank you for that. Gratitude is enormously powerful. One of the coolest things is when we actually start to notice the little synchronicities, right? So, today I'm talking about manifesting my specific someone and getting together with her and really just looking forward to spending quality time. This is kind of a question I get from a lot of people. And then the very following day, something kind of cool happens, a coincidence, a synchronicity, some sort of random happenstance that actually seems somewhat related to what I've been thinking. When that happens in life, when I get that little hint, that little notice, that little moment, that synchronicity, I directly relate it back to what I've done, what I've been doing, the work I did the day before, the causation, as I like to call it. When you can make that connection in your real life, in your real world, when you see that what happens tomorrow when you're there is related to what the work you were just doing yesterday, a lot of these questions start to go away. A lot of these things like, was that me? Did I do that? Was I? Yes, you did do that. That's some of the fun of when the manifestation stuff starts to happen. When you start to see the synchronicities, the things that some of you will comment in the videos or even email me and say, so then this happened. Is that like me pushed out? Is that my, I think there's a lot of confusion around some of these concepts that we're pushing on. Yeah, they're deep. And yeah, you can get lost in these and you can spend years trying to figure out what it means that we're all one, like that kind of concept. It's pretty deep. But ultimately, let's simplify it a little bit and go, here's what I'm asking for. Here's what's happening. I'm the direct cause of that. And if you can remember the thoughts and words and deeds that you were doing that brought about the action, or at least thoughts, words, and deeds you have that are in line with that action, maybe you've had them a number of times over the past week, and you start to connect the dots. You start to see that what you're saying, what your I am presence is doing and being and saying and thinking, you start to realize, oh my gosh, that's me. I am creating that. I am a powerful manifester. I am with my significant someone. I am more abundant. I am happy. I am making a difference in other people's lives. I am making a difference in the world. I am making a difference with those I meet. I am spreading light and love. I am the way and the light. Jesus said that. A very beautiful phrase. I am the way and the light. It's many of us are demonstrating or trying to demonstrate, certainly Jesus far better than most of us, right? But Jesus is a great example of kind of how that went. And I don't normally get all religious or Christian or whatever, but again, I know a good chunk of our audience is Christian, and I know some of our audience is not Christian. So fill in significant, special, spiritual figure here, but essentially the same thing. These people are excellent examples of mastery, of the I am presence, of being conscious and aware and practicing these I am parts. So when we're able to connect those dots between what's happening internally and what's happening externally, we have become empowered beyond words. We have proven to ourselves, certainly no one else. You will never be able to prove this to another person, but you can prove it to yourself with these coincidences that other people will happily bypass. Well, that was just a coincidence. That was just random. That just happened to work out that way. All right, well, that's fine. I can't prove it to you, but I know what I experienced. I know just moments ago I was thinking about it, and then it happened. I don't really care what other people think. That's why you don't really get into those conversations, because once you start getting to this point where you're listening to the I am presence, where you're starting to consciously take control of what you are manifesting in your life, that you're taking control of your life, of being with your specific someone, of manifesting your home, your child's wealth and health and well-being, your new vehicle, your vacation home, your trip to wherever, this meeting of some random person, maybe they're a celebrity, maybe they're some stranger that you've never met. When you start to realize that we control that, you are seriously in like the top 10%. I don't mean top as in better. I just mean 90% of the people, quote, below you, don't think they have any control or say over their lives. The second you realize that you do, that already puts you into a minority. And so if you talk to somebody in the majority, they're going to tell you you're crazy, because you're someone that's listening to your I am presence. You're someone that's paying attention to what's happening. You're someone that's not giving away your power, but yet owning it and helping use it to get what you're trying to create in life. The I am presence was given to us by source, by universe, by creator, by God, by Allah, by whatever. It was given to us. It is us. It is part of who we are. So use that power responsibly, because frankly, even if you don't want to use it, now you're using it unconsciously. So now every time you say something crazy like, I'm not good enough, I suck, blah, blah, you're jacking yourself. Listen to yourself when you say I am, especially for some of us that are maybe struggling a little, trying to get our manifestation to happen faster. Pay attention to what you're thinking. Pay attention to what you're saying, and pay attention to what you're doing. If you're doing behaviors because you don't think you have something, there's your sponsoring thought. If you're thinking thoughts because you don't think you're good enough, there you go. That's part of why you still have that in your energy. That's that us pushed out, right? Look to right now, though. Don't get too lost in this us pushed out stuff, right? Worry about that a little later once you get your thoughts under control, because that will help you fine-tune it. But when you're still kind of beating yourself up on a regular basis, seriously, let's not make this more difficult. Let's start with what you're thinking, what you're saying, and what you're doing. That is your creation. That is your I am power. Own it. Be it. Live it. Demonstrate it to other people. I've even frequently done this many a time. I think I've done it on numerous shows for that matter. Well, I'll say something that's basically negative and then flop it around and replace it with a positive. Plenty of times where I've changed my thought midstream because I was about to go down a more of a negative-y, throw a negative in there to try to make it sound positive. And instead it's like, well, wait, no, here's what I mean, here's what I'm trying to say, and I'll say it in a positive. It just takes practice. That's all it is. It's the power of I am. It is amazing. And when you're doing affirmations, any of the stuff where you're trying to manifest, especially your specific someone, the affirmations, I am love, I am good enough, I am great enough, I am in love with this person, I am the light, I am great to be around, I am wonderful energy, I am an energy that my specific somebody loves to be around. Say that one a few times. Say that one 10 times. I am an energy that my specific someone loves to be around. Say that every single day because it's just a good thing to remind yourself of. Because you are that great. You are someone your specific somebody wants to be around. You are an amazing energy, and you are changing your world and changing the bigger world around you. Because as you change your inner world, the outer world starts to change. So you're actually affecting a larger world than you realize. As within, so without, as the adage goes. Dan, RadioStyle. Hope you guys love it. Hope this helps. That's the important part, frankly. And hopefully this makes sense. I guess that's the other part. I am making sense to everyone that's watching. I am doing my best. There you go. We're going to be going out with a Neil Diamond song called I Am, I Said. If you'd like to contact me, feel free to do so. Also at danradiostyle@gmail.com. Thanks for joining me. We'll be doing more shows coming up soon. Here's Neil Diamond.
LA's fine, but it ain't home. New York's home, but it ain't mine no